Hi, and welcome to Reading with Miss Momo. I'm so glad you could join me today. Today we're going to read a book about a special little owl. You know, I have been thinking a lot, especially since today is National Caregiver Day, about people who are different. You might know my son Jonathan has cerebral palsy and is in a wheelchair full time, and I'm a caretaker. And I watch as people act and react to him. I also have noticed how people act and react to other people that are different, and it concerns me. I want us to love one another and be kind to one another no matter if we're different. So I chose this book on purpose to read to you in hopes that you will make a difference in someone's life, even if they're different than you. So join me now and listen carefully to this beautiful story. The Little White Owl by Tracey Corderoy and Jane Chapman. Once there was a little white owl who lived by himself in the snow. He didn't have a mommy. He didn't have a daddy. He didn't even have a name. But he didn't really mind too much. It had always been like that. And his head was full of happy stories. And there he is, a lonely little white owl in the white snow who doesn't have a family. Sometimes he was a brave white knight. Sometimes he was a snowflake. Sometimes he was a rocket blasting off to the moon. But every night at bedtime, he sat on his favorite branch, nibbling toast spread with strawberry jam and counting the stars by himself. He used his imagination to be different things, and he enjoyed every moment of his life. He started finding things to be thankful for. He counted the stars, and he enjoyed what he ate, and he enjoyed pretending to be different things. We need to learn to enjoy being who we are, even if we're different, even if we feel all alone. Then one day he looked at the big blue sky that stretched on and on forever. I wonder what's out there, said the little white owl. So he packed his teddy and his clock, and it was time to see the world. For days the little white owl flew over turquoise oceans and deserts of gold. Then he spotted the prettiest trees sprinkled with tiny jewels. So down, down, down he swooped. But wait, look how beautiful that is. And he was getting to see the beautiful world. He went out to see what else there was. And he saw some little colorful things down there. And he's going to swoop down to see what they are. These jewels had beaks. They were owls, lovely owls. Owls just like him. Would anyone like a bite of toast, he said. But the lovely owls sat quiet and still. They didn't want to spoil their perfect feathers. How very plain you are, groaned the green. No colors at all, sniffed the dotty red. You don't belong with us. Go away. Oh my goodness, they were beautiful, but they sure weren't very beautiful on the inside, were they? They were being very mean and hateful. They were not being kind, even though they looked pretty. So sometimes looks can be deceiving. Sometimes you can be beautiful on the outside, but if your heart isn't beautiful and if you're not kind and humble, then it doesn't matter what you look like on the outside. But I do have colors, cried the little white owl, here in my heart. And bumping up and down in me are lots of happy stories. I'll share them with you if you want me to. He's a very happy little owl, isn't he? He's content in what he has. The owl sat and thought. Then, sighed the blue. A story might help pass the time. Fine, but just one, said the flowery pink with a yawn. Oh, she thought she was going to be so bored with his stories. So she told him, you can only tell one story, but it might help us pass the time. They were bored. They were just sitting around being bored, not the white owl. He was happy and had stories to tell. He had stories of his heart and his head going on. So the little white owl swung on a branch with his little teddy, and he munched his toast and shared a happy story. Oh, breathed the blue owl dreamily. While the little white owl had finished, the other owls all glared at her. Oops, sorry, she blushed, but couldn't we have just one more? They're all sitting around looking, but they don't look very happy, do they? They're kind of judging. I think they're sitting there judging the cute little white owl that's so happy and enjoying life and has stories to tell. So the little white owl closed his eyes and magical stories came pouring from his heart. Colorful tales of castles and knights and dragons with fiery breath, and blasting through the moonbeams and counting bright stars and tumbling down like a snowflake. He had so many stories to tell, and he was so excited about it. He was upside down. He was flipping around. He was so happy and so excited, sharing his wonderful stories with everyone else. Slowly and rather to their surprise, the owls began to smile. Ah, they breathed. Then suddenly, more, cried everyone. They were relaxing. They were enjoying his stories, much to their surprise. At last, when all his toast had gone, the little white owl checked his clock. Gosh, I have to go, he gasped. Back to my sparkly home. I need to feel the snow and count the stars. But then, there he is with his teddy and his clock, and he says it's time to go home and count his stars to his happy home, his sparkly happy home. The blue wing fluttered and the tail of the dotty red began to twitch. Take us too, cried the pretty owls, sweeping into the sky. We want to feel your fluffy snow and count your sparkly stars and play and laugh and tumble just like you. All of a sudden, they had decided that he had a good life and that he was pretty special. And they wanted to be more like him and find out more about him and find out what made him so happy. Why did he have a happy heart and a happy brain and happy stories to tell when he was just a white owl? So the little white owl led them home, where they tumbled and twirled on the ice like splashes of rainbow. They speckled the snow, their colors brighter than ever. Here they're on the snow, they're seeing all the beautiful sparkly, and they're twirling and they're jumping and they're being so happy. They've come to his happy place, to his happy house, and they're having a good time. Later they huddled together and sipped warm cocoa. Tomorrow when we fly home, said the blue, the white clouds will remind us of you. Promise that you'll visit us very soon. I promise, smiled the little white owl, and you can tell me all of your stories. Then he snuggled up on his favorite branch. Here they're toasting some toast to share. They're all going to snuggle down and spend the night with him. And he's invited them to come back anytime, and they've invited him to come to their house as long as he tells stories. And soon he was dreaming happy dreams as huge silver moon lit the deep dark sky that stretched on and on forever. And here they all are having to spend the night with him in his home. And they're getting to see the stars and the beautiful snow and see why he's so happy, even though he's a white owl with a bunch of owls with colors. We need to learn to be content and happy with what we have and where we are in life. And in our own homes, we need to share with others. We need not to judge. We don't need to think we're better than everybody else. That's not what God wants us to do. He made each one of us different. Some of us are special. All of us are special in God's eyes. But some of us have special needs. And I hope that you include those people in the things that you do. I hope that you are happy and that you show love and that you love Jesus and let other people see Jesus in you. Until we meet again, smile and be happy, be kind, be humble, love one another.
God bless.